Welcome back to Resilient Studios. The purpose of today's video is to show you that toxic people with narcissistic tendencies can purposefully misgender trans people as an abuse tactic, meant to hurt the victim while boasting the self-esteem of the abuser. It's also meant to gaslight the trans person's reality while manipulating cis people into believing something that is not true, that trans people deserve abuse for being trans, when no, you do not.
Being brave is being yourself, and being transgender is about the bravest thing you can do. Did she deserve the award?
65?
Yes.
Why are we mainstreaming delusion?
It's not delusion.
Why would you call it delusion?
Because Bruce Caitlyn Jenner, I'll call him Caitlyn Jenner.
No, it's her. You're not being polite to the pronouns.
Because
disrespectful.
Okay, forget about the disrespect. Facts don't care about your feelings. It turns out that every chromosome, every cell in Caitlyn Jenner's body is male with the exception of some of his sperm cells. It turns out that his brain structure is male. It turns out that he still has all of his male appendages. How he feels on the inside is irrelevant to the question of his biological status.
I don't agree with that. I'm not on that train.
Chromosomes don't necessarily mean you're male or female.
Gender.
With gender
identity. Go ahead. So,
especially, but even so, you have a thing like Klinefelter's syndrome. So you don't know what you're talking about. You're not educated on genetics.
Are you supposed to discuss the genetics or no?
Well, no,
what are
no.
your genetics?
So I'd stay away from the genetics and back to the brain scans.
You cut that out now, or you'll go home in an ambulance.
Yeah, that seems mildly inappropriate for a political discussion.
Okay, so the gentleman is stating, why are we mainstreaming delusion? And that's him gaslighting the reality of everybody right off the bat, including this trans woman. A delusion is a false belief that you have despite having clear contradictory evidence. Despite every major medical association agreeing that trans people exist, despite the brain scans that show that they are valid in what they're saying, despite what we know about trans people being deserving of having the benefit of the doubt, just like cis people want when they want their truth to be validated and they want to be seen as good people too, the trans woman isn't delusional because she knows who she is and she's telling everyone who she is. Delusions are not internal things that you know about yourself to be true. It's the term delusional is used as an abuse tactic to discredit trans people and to make them appear wrong and or crazy, not to be believed. The man here in the suit, he's actually the one that's delusional to either believe or try to get people to believe something that isn't true so easily. That trans people aren't valid or that they don't exist when they're right in front of our faces. And when they do exist, he wants and needs you to believe that an entire population of people are just liars. That's more of the guy's delusion, not the trans woman. He also says, forget about the disrespect. Facts don't care about your feelings. But only when it comes to trans people and not himself. That's more delusion. This person doesn't seem to care about facts at all, actually. He also said the term, how he feels when referring to Caitlyn Jenner. But being trans isn't a feeling or a choice. It's a fact that exists. There's a big difference with saying I am a woman versus I feel like a woman. Trans women are women. It's not just a feeling for them. But even cis women can feel like a woman. Just ask Shania Twain. So he's talking about how Caitlyn Jenner is a man because she has an appendage. But if a cis man lost his appendage in an accident of some sort, would he go from being a cis man to a cis woman? No. So having an appendage to begin with is not a necessary condition to being a man. You can be a woman and have one because trans people exist. And then not all trans people have the appendage either. So how he feels is irrelevant, is what he's saying in regards to Caitlyn Jenner again. Getting a great deal of narcissistic supply of getting people to believe that the truth is irrelevant and that trans people who are telling you the truth about who they are, they're just lying. he also says wrong about chromosomes. In 1 minute, this gentleman completely loses the debate, especially with the chromosomes. But someone with a huge ego is never going to concede or tell you that due to their own insecurities, the need for validation, admiration, power, superiority, and attention that they desire, that they need to devalue trans people and people in the LGBT plus community for an ego boost. That's something he's never going to tell you guys, but that's what's going on here. Once this person was proven to be wrong about something that he couldn't contest, the Klinefelter syndrome, he immediately pulled out a toxic abuse tactic that is not only sexual harassment, bullying, and gaslighting, it's just plain abuse, to intentionally misgender someone in order to hurt them and try to give the perception that you're still got the debate going when you just lost the debate. It's also extremely immature. But the equivalent would be someone telling a cis man that he's a cis woman over and over and over and over again when it's not true. The trans woman's reaction to this narcissistic abuse is reactionary abuse, is one more proof that misgendering trans people is hurtful because it's abusive, because you're saying things that aren't true about them. And doing these things is used to hurt and get reactions from trans people, so the narcissist doesn't have to take accountability for being wrong, and also for having to tell the reason why they're acting like this in the first place because of their own ego and needing to feel superior over people. These kinds of people, these kinds of narcissistic, toxic people, they're just going to blame you for the reaction that they purposely tried to get out of you while ignoring what they just did and what they just said. That was wrong, hurtful information, misinformation, dangerous information that's getting trans people unalived and hurt and made to feel bad about themselves for absolutely no reason at all. This video isn't to justify the reaction of the trans woman, okay? Or to justify abusive reactions, although they're to be expected when you're being abused. And that's what reactionary abuse is all about. But this video isn't about justifying the reaction. It's to use the reaction to prove abuse. And to remind everyone that invalidating trans people when they exist and are valid is abuse. And here's some advice to trans people. Don't give cis people that don't support you, that are being abusive to you, don't give them the reactions that they're expecting and need to justify abusing you. Okay, lots of love to you guys. Please hit the like button. Take care. Have a wonderful day.